Good morning everyone and welcome to the Oval for the third day's play of the fourth test match between Australia and New Zealand. Australia currently are in their first innings and are in a little spot of bother at 122 for 4, still 230 runs behind New Zealand's first innings total of 352. We join the action now as Richard Hadlee bowls the first ball of the day to Steve Waugh. Slightly overpitched and Australia are away this morning with a single. Oh, and that one came back in. Some early movement for Hadlee. Beautifully played by Steve Waugh. He's clipped that away off his toes, and that's the first boundary of the day. Steve Waugh really waited for that one and punched it down the ground for 4. Well, that's a beautiful outswinger from Hadlee. There's a big appeal. That was close to the edge, but not out. That's another gorgeous shot from Steve Waugh, and that's the 150 up for Australia. That's short, and Steve Waugh's pulled that away for 4. You don't see that very often. That's another lovely piece of timing, driven off the back foot for 4 more. Vettori now electing to come over the wicket, and that's beautifully bowled. Last ball of the over for Vettori. Oh, and that's out. Bolt's taken the catch, a backward short leg, beautifully bowled by Vettori. That dropped on board and spun, took the inside edge, and he is now out. Caught Bolt, bowled Vettori for 12, and Australia are 167 for 5. Oh, that's a good shot from Vettori. It's hard to get an LBW from over the wicket because that ball probably pitched outside leg stump. That's a nice pull shot from Ian Healy all the way to the square leg boundary for 4. Oh, that's nicely bowled by Shane Bond, so close to the edge. In the air and just over square leg, and that will be 50 for Steve Waugh. Oh, that's a gorgeous cover drive from Steve Waugh, right into the gap. Yes, well, Australia are still 165 runs behind, but that will help the cause. A lovely late cut from Ian Healy for 4. That's a nice shot, played square through the offside, and that will be 4 ball. Healy lunges forward, the New Zealanders appeal. What does the umpire say? Yes, that's out. That's well bowled by Vettori. Let's have a look at the replay. That ball pitching on leg stumps, straightening down the line, and that would have definitely hit the stumps. Ian Healy is out. LBW to Vettori for 18, and Australia are 197 for 6. Gone! Steve Waugh's gone for 56. What a spectacular catch by Stephen Fleming, flinging himself to the right and plucking it from thin air. Oh, that's a huge wicket for New Zealand. Steve Waugh is out. Caught Fleming bowled Cairns for 56. And Australia are 197 for 7. Australia 155 runs behind. New Zealand is certainly in the driving seat. Warren sweeps, and he's off the mark. That will be 4, down towards fine leg. Oh, lots of spin for Vettori. There's a big appeal by the New Zealanders, but the umpire says no. And that will be lunch on day 3. What an enthralling session of Test match cricket. Australia are 203 for 7. Let's have a look at the scorecard. Out in that session, Steve Waugh for a very good 56, Alan Border for a scratchy 12, and Ian Healy for 18. New Zealand are certainly into the bowlers now. For New Zealand, 3 wickets for Daniel Vettori, 2 for Shane Bond, 1 for Chris Cairns, and just the 1 for Richard Hadlee. Well, that's nicely clipped away by Warren through square leg for 4. Bowled him! A lovely in-swinging full delivery from Cairns has taken care of Shane Warne. He is out. Bowled Cairns for 9, and Australia are 208 for 8. First ball now for Dennis Lillee. Oh, and that's a lovely pull shot. That's gone all the way for 4. Oh, that's out. Oh, that's a super catch by Ross Taylor. Lillee going for the drive, the ball holding up on him, and Taylor had his hands in the right place and took a wonderful catch. Lillee is out. Caught Taylor, bowled Vettori for 4. And Australia are 213 for 9. Oh, that's out. Clean bowled. And that's 5 wickets for Daniel Vettori. What an effort this has been. Gillespie is out. Bowled Vettori for 4. And Australia are all out. Bowled out for 214. So there it is. Australia all out for 214. Still 138 runs behind New Zealand. Let's have a look at the scorecard. 47 for Ricky Ponting yesterday, 56 for Steve Waugh today, but not much else from the other batsmen. For New Zealand, their superstar Daniel Vettori, who's bowled wonderfully on a pitch, offering him a little bit of assistance. 5 for 75 to go with 2 for 41 for Shane Bond and 2 for 23 for Chris Cairns. New Zealand will be over the moon with their position. They'll be looking now to extend this lead as quickly as possible and try and set Australia a difficult target on the 5th day. The opening batsmen Glenn Turner and Stephen Fleming are out there now, ready to kick off New Zealand's second innings. Well, that looks a very close shout from McGrath. What does the umpire say? No. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh, that ball just moving away from off stump. New Zealand once again preferring this slow and steady opening. Oh, but that's going to be the first 4. A lovely late cut from Fleming. Well, that's a beautiful piece of timing. Down the ground for 4. Down the pitch, and Turner has whacked one for 4 down the ground. And that's tea on day 3. New Zealand in the second innings are 41 without loss, 179 runs ahead already. 41 runs in 23 overs, another slow and steady start, but this is really paying off for New Zealand, this tactic, because they're giving the rest of their batting order a nice solid foundation. Oh, there's a big appeal from McGrath, but I think that ball was going well down the leg side. Let's have a look. Another shot for LBW, this time by Dennis Lilly, but I don't think that ball was going to be hitting the stumps either. Let's have a look. Oh, there's no one at first slip, and so that edge goes uncaught. That's a nice piece of fielding for Gilchrist. A shot at the stumps. Oh, he's hit the stumps. Yes, that's going to be out. Run out. Yes, Glenn Turner is run out for 25, and New Zealand are 56 for 1. It's a beautiful on drive from Fleming, standing tall at the crease and punching it down the ground. Short ball from McGrath, and oh, that seemed to have hit Stephen Fleming in the ribs. Oh, he doesn't look in a good way, shaking his head. A bit of concern by the Australians. And I'm afraid Stephen Fleming's walking off the field. He's retired hurt for 37. That's not good news for New Zealand, losing their captain. Ross Taylor joins Kane Williamson out there in the middle. Oh, and that's out. A sweep shot, a little inside edge onto the pad, and that bobbed up for Alan Border. So Ross Taylor is out. Caught Border, bowled Warren for 3, and New Zealand are 75 for 2. One is bowling well. Can he get on a roll? There's a big shout, but that ball may have pitched outside leg stump. Let's have a look at the replay. Yes, outside leg stump and missing the stumps as well. That's stabbed away by Martin Crowe. Is that going to be his first boundary? Yes, that will release the shackles. This is the best Warner's bowled all series. And that's another beautiful ball, beaten on the inside edge. And that is stumps on day 3. New Zealand in their second innings are 97 for 2. Let's have a look at the scorecard. 97 in 54 overs. They found scoring a little bit difficult again. The Australian bowlers have made it as hard as possible, but they're doing well. 37 for Stephen Fleming. He has had to retire hurt, and we have just heard from the New Zealand dressing room that he is expected to be out for 4 weeks with a fracture. So if New Zealand go on to win this match and keep themselves in the series, they will have lost their captain for the 5th test match. Kane Williamson is at the crease on 18 not out. Martin Crowe is there on 8 not out, finding batting a little bit difficult. For Australia, Shane Warne the only wicket taker, and he has bowled very well in this innings so far. And so with 2 days play remaining, New Zealand lead by 235 runs with 8 second innings wickets in hand, although that technically is 7 because Stephen Fleming will not be batting again. They are certainly in the driving seat in this test match. Australia have their work cut out ahead of them if they want to avoid losing this match. That's it from us. Do join us tomorrow for day 4, and bye for now.